Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Chelsea got new owners. Todd Boehly has done it. Todd Boehly has won it. I'm going to put my shades on because we got a bit of catching up to do. It's been over a week since I posted a video, and people who don't follow me on social media will have absolutely no idea what's going on. They'll just think either lazy, can't be bothered, or he's on holiday or something like that. Well, for those of you that don't know, I live in Bali, and about, 4 days ago now, I technically became homeless. I'm not homeless because I still have a roof over my head each night, but I've been going from place to place because, long story short, the Bali housing market has become an incredibly chaotic place in the last week. And because of the massive influx of tourists, there isn't anywhere accepting dogs and cats. So as a man who has 2 pets, it's been near impossible to find somewhere for me, my girlfriend, the animals to live. I've been spending like 25 hours a day. I know that's not possible, but just to exaggerate the point, trying to figure out the situation. And as a result of that, I haven't actually really got anywhere with it. So yeah, it's left me a little bit stuck. I'm gonna try and find somewhere away from the cars that we can pitch up and celebrate, I guess, because the whole ownership fiasco, malarkey, whichever way you want to look at it, there were potential new owners that would have left us thinking, we're not sure about this one for many different reasons. There are some people that have certain ways of thinking, such as the Ricketts family, who you don't really want those kind of people anywhere near your football club. But Todd Boehly, Clear Lake Capital, and the 2 other guys, Mark Walter and the person whose name I can't pronounce, unfortunately, they've won the bid. So Chelsea Football Club is no longer owned by Roman Abramovich, and this process that has sent us through emotional turmoil, roller coasters of emotions, thinking, who's going to own the club? Will Chelsea cease to exist? And will we continue to see the level of success that has made Chelsea one of the biggest clubs in the world over the course of the past 20 plus years? We don't really know any of the answers to those questions. Todd Boehly, of all of the potential new owners, was, in my opinion, by far the best option in terms of what he's done with the LA Dodgers. The way that he, pretty much the more we dug into Boehly, we actually realised that if you dig in to anybody's history, the chances are there's going to be things that come up within that history that you're going to question, at least. And I think Boehly was one of the only ones who actually had the least amount of dirt that Chelsea fans could use to rationalise why we wouldn't want them as the new owner. With Roman Abramovich, we have had unprecedented footballing success, not just in the contextualised history of Chelsea Football Club, but as football clubs go in general. To achieve what we've achieved in the Abramovich era is pretty incredible, to the point of it's very difficult to replicate. It's very difficult even for Manchester City. Look what happened to them this week. Chelsea have 2 Champions Leagues. City, they've had the money for a very long time now. And when you do the averages of when City were taken over and how many of the biggest cups they've got, yeah, Premier Leagues, they're doing great, but still no Champions League. Still to be considered in the upper echelons of footballing greatness, of massive clubs. City don't have that elusive trophy yet to enable us to be like, yeah, they're in the same bracket as a Chelsea. So before we start looking forward to the Todd Boehly era, before we start to get excited about first summers, we remember the Abramovich first summer. We spent a lot of money, we went out there, we won the Premier League. Will we see the same thing under Boehly? I do think there's going to be a pretty rapid injection from the Boehly, Clear Lake Capital, Mark Walter, etc. group. I think what I mean by that is this summer, I do think they will give it all of the opportunities to spend money. I think there'll be a clear out of players in the current squad. I don't want to go into the details as to who I want that to be, who I think it's going to be, because as of right now, I guess for me, you know, with all of the stuff going on in my personal life that has kind of left me stressed and even at some points unable to work because my stuff was locked in a car that I didn't have access to, so I didn't have my laptop, didn't have my camera equipment for a couple of days. So yeah, it's been that kind of level of stuff really, where I've literally had this t-shirt, been washing it in a sink, buying new clothes because I couldn't access my actual stuff. So for me right now to look at the news, to look at Twitter and see that Chelsea actually are kind of out of the woods in terms of that unknowing period, in terms of that, who's it going to be? Could it possibly be the Ricketts family? Could it be owners where we're left with no choice but to think that we could be going down a similar path to that of Manchester United? And from what I've been understanding, there have been certain clauses and agreements that have been reached within the Todd Boehly bid between Rain Group. Roman Abramovich has obviously had significant input during this entire process. So from what I understand, there are certain little caveats that at this moment in time I haven't been able to dig into enough to give you all of the direct, detailed information. But Chelsea are basically, the way this sale has been conducted, it's been conducted with enough sureties from the bidder that Chelsea will not go down a similar kind of path to that of other Premier League clubs who have had American owners and investment, and it's ended up jeopardising the way that the club is ran, not just from a financial business perspective of ingoings, outgoings of players, but that connection between the fan and the club is something that, with all of these different takeovers in the Premier League, it's become so distorted to a point where at first we have that initial buzz of being like, oh, we're getting taken over. That means we're going to be able to spend loads of money, which in footballing terms usually equates to winning more trophies. At this moment in time, we realise that there is now so much flipping money in football that it isn't just about having access to money. There are financial fair play restrictions. There are these connections between fans, between the club, which questions the heritage of what football clubs are, what football clubs mean, where we've come from to ever get to these points. So I think with the Todd Boehly group, I think as it comes to reacting to the news that my football club have new ownership, I think this is definitely the best option that I have thought of since day one. I said that the Saudi media group at one point were my favourite option because I was thinking along the lines of they have access to the most money. Chelsea's success has been built off of the spending money kind of format. You know, when Abramovich came in, we had that summer where we spent a flipping fortune, had photographs where they had to get wide-angle lenses just to simply fit all of the players who we'd just gone and bloody bought into the photo frame. That's what it was. And if I were to make a prediction now, I do think this summer is the biggest summer in the first 5 years for the Todd Boehly group in terms of Chelsea Football Club, because we can see from the way that we've won the Champions League, the manager we have, the way things this season have been turbulent and how we've dealt with that and how we spent money, I think that there is very clearly a group of players who could well leave the club this summer, and a lot of positions where it is absolutely paramount that we invest to improve, to make sure that we do not fall further behind Man City, to fall further behind Liverpool in the Premier League. Thomas Tuchel has come out with comments himself this week which basically tell us that whoever takes over at Chelsea, we get it, Todd Boehly, nice, I don't care. My job is as the manager. I'm the coach. I'm the one who makes sure that Chelsea Football Club go out there game by game when it's 11 versus 11 with the best possible chance of winning football matches. Because if you win football matches, you win titles. That is what Chelsea want to see. And I think with Todd Boehly at least, we have a lot to look forward to when it comes to how we're going to invest in players, how Chelsea Football Club's entire transfer vision will be dependent not just on bringing in big names to invest in the brand of Chelsea Football Club. These bloody loud bikes do my head in, they have done for years. But it's going to be about analytics. It's going to be about data that we can find as a club with a lot of money available to make sure that we can make strategic and smart business investments on the pitch, such as Liverpool signing Luis Diaz. That isn't just looking for the biggest name. The man came from Porto. Some people who don't watch European football wouldn't know who he is because maybe his face isn't on Pepsi. Maybe his face isn't on Coca-Cola, which is how we relate to players sometimes. Chelsea are going to hopefully start to invest smart. And I think if we can do that, the foundations of what Abramovich has left the club as and where he left the club at as European champions until about a couple of weeks' time, where Liverpool will probably be European champions. That's my prediction for that. But I think we've got a lot to look forward to here. Obviously, this is just my initial reaction. All of this news has just come into fruition, into the universe in the past couple of days. I've got a few things to sort out, guys. So for those of you that don't really care about what goes on in my personal life and you just want to hear me talk about Chelsea, it's not that easy right now, trust me. I'm living out of a bag. I didn't have access to the vehicle that had all my stuff in it for a few days. I've been going here, there and everywhere, trying to find a new home. I'm not just here on holiday, as some people think. It's not an extended holiday, I actually live here. And yeah, I've not actually got a place to live right now. I'm just going from room to room each night with whatever's available because this place is rammed. It's also the end of Ramadan, which means that it's even busier than it organically normally would be. Just made my life tough. It's been a couple of sleepless nights, but I'm still here. I'm alive, I'm kicking, I'm healthy. And Chelsea are now owned by Todd Boehly. Let me know how you feel about this in the comments down below. We got Wolves tonight. There isn't going to be a preview, and 6 Things We Learned will be out after the game, but tomorrow. Of course, can't go out before, but it will be out tomorrow because I can't film late at night in the place I'm currently staying because the walls are stupidly thin and there's loads of other tourists staying here with me. So yeah, thank you for your patience. Thank you for all the love. And I actually think that we've got a lot to look forward to with this Todd Boehly bid. I think it's not going to be anywhere near as bad as some people might think the Abramovich transitional era will be. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. See you all later. Come on, you Blues.